Right. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the SSA Philosophy channel, where we dive right on in the philosophy of characters from video games to movies to TV shows, etc., etc. And in today's video, we will go over the philosophy of Nathan Drake from the Uncharted series. And before we get into this video immediately, I want to briefly describe pretty much what it is that I do on this channel. And of course, I already said the answer to it overall, where obviously on this channel, where we pretty much dive right on in overall into going over pretty much, the philosophies of characters from all over like pop culture, and popular genres of our culture all together. And pretty much to like really wanted to focus on, a character's philosophy, because personally, the reason why is because personally, I believe that, that there's like a philosophy that I believe that, every character has, in their own right. And, I know maybe it might not necessarily be the case, like, say, for anyone else who may agree with me on that fact, but, overall, but from what I already, but overall, I mean, I do believe that personally, so I mean, you don't have to agree with me automatically, you don't have to agree with me on, like, pretty much agree with me on every point overall, but I just believe that generally overall that, I think every character overall has a philosophy of their very own. And I wanted to kind of like, create like say, philosophies, be creative with them for all the characters that I want to focus on this channel altogether. And really that's the reason why. So I feel like overall I wanted to focus on a character that overall is like one of my favorite characters when it comes to video games. And that of course is Nathan Drake, of course. So overall, I want to say overall that, this is pretty much what I, plan on wanting to do on this channel. And I want to plan on doing it for the long term. And overall, that is all that needs to be said. So other than that, though, we will get right on with this video right away. So if you do enjoy more content like this on the channel as well too, then you can subscribe, hit the like button, and also notification bell as well too. To be notified of more videos like this on the channel. And so if you like this content all together all the time, you can do that because it's all free and it's free 100%. And without further ado, let us get started. So, Nathan Drake. Now, Nathan Drake is a name well known among video game enthusiasts, synonymous with adventure and the thrill of discovery. So, really, the central figure of the Uncharted series. So, Nathan Drake overall is not necessarily like your typical hero, because his character is like, say, imbued like with a combination of wit, charm, and really a knack for getting out of tight spots. So that really, so yeah, pretty much that resonates with a lot of players. Like his appeal, really lies like not just in his actions, but in his humanity. He's flawed, he's relatable, and driven by a desire to uncover the secrets of the past. And really, as a character, Nathan represents like the essence of high stakes, exploration. From seeking, fabled treasures to unraveling, historical mysteries. Now, Nathan Drake, believed to be a descendant, of course, of legendary, Sir Francis Drake, which, altogether is false, because he's not necessary. I mean, he's not really a descendant of, Francis Drake, but, he believes that, of course, he believes that in his heart, in his mind, that he's a descendant of Sir Francis Drake. But Nathan Drake grew up in an orphanage where, he fostered really like a love for history and mysteries. His mother had passed away, and his father also relinquished custody as well too. And the young Nathan Drake, he cultivated a fascination really with Sir Francis Drake's, with his exploits and his supposed hidden treasures. And really, when you look at like, Drake's adventures, like his adventures pretty much took him to places like El Dorado, to Shambhala and Libertalia. So pretty much each all representing like say a chapter of his quest in the Uncharted series. So like in Uncharted, Drake's fortune, he searched for the lost treasure of El Dorado. In Uncharted 2, among thieves, saw him unfold the mystery of Marco Polo's doomed fleet, leading to a mythical city of Shambhala. And it's also his ventures in Uncharted 3. Drake's deception revolved around the fabled lost city, known as the lost city of Ubar, or the Atlantis, the Atlantis of the Sands, the Aram of the Pillars, and Uncharted 4, which pretty much a thief's end, culminated in the pursuit of pirate Henry Avy's treasure in Libertalia. So throughout the series, Nate developed significant relationships, notably with Elena Fisher, whom he married, and Chloe Frazier, who was an old flame and also a fellow treasure hunter herself, and his partnership, of course, with Victor Sullivan, his mentor and like father figure, and really the bond with his long lost brother Sam as well too, which all really overall shaped much of his life's trajectory and his exploits. So really, despite his adventurous lifestyle, Drake remains a relatable character, one who is, he's charming, he's witty, and really has a strong sense of humor, like his flaws and vulnerabilities, make him like pretty much make him accessible to players who can actually connect with his struggles and his triumphs. And really, when you think about it, like, the evolution across, the series itself, Nathan Drake is more really than just a treasure hunter. He's a modern day explorer who really embodies like the spirit, of adventure and discovery, because really his adventures, like they take him to exotic and dangerous locations from dense jungles to ancient ruins. And really along the way, he encounters, enigmatic characters, unravels historical mysteries and faces his own inner demons. So really, with that being said, having to, give a brief introduction overall to the character of Nathan Drake, now we really start to get in, of course, into like the philosophy of Nathan Drake. And it really is overall philosophy known to be what I call, because like I said, I want to be creative, with, the philosophy overall with the characters on the channel, but really something that I want to call the Drake Doctrine. Fortune favors the reckless. Now you see, now as I said before, now Nathan Drake, like I said, he isn't your typical hero. Like he's a wisecracking treasure hunter. A man who dances between, fortune and folly. But really beneath, the smugs and the shootouts, there lies a surprisingly, like say, coherent philosophy. So of course, here are of course the core tenets really of the Drake Doctrine. So the core tenets: legacy is carved, not inherited. Now the thing is, now see Drake, he isn't, weighed down by like a noble lineage. Like he invents his own legacy, forging his name in the pursuit of legendary treasures. And really this speaks to like really a rejection of, predetermined paths and really an embrace of self-determination. Now see Nathan Drake, like I said before, he isn't your stereotypical hero, because like really forget the whole, gleaming family of silver, and the weight of expectation, because he doesn't like have a legacy, thrust upon him. Like he chases it really like say with the relentless fervor of a man possessed. And really this obsession with carving his own name in history really is like a core tenet of his philosophy, and it really shapes him in profound ways. And really Drake's childhood. So really Drake's childhood was like really like what I would say was like a tapestry woven with the absent threads of his father who vanished, when Nathan was just a boy. And one could expect this, to burden him, to push him towards a life of stability and safety. But Drake, he actually rebels against that. Like he doesn't really see his father overall, like his legacy or what his father used to be, what he was known to be, as like a path to follow, but really like a challenge to surpass. Pretty much for him to forge his own identity and not really like be in the shadow overall of his father. When it comes to like his father's like say, what his father did, of course, back in the past. When he was just a boy, but really in the blaze, really of his own adventures instead. So really, when we look at like say, for Drake, now see Drake like see Drake, his legacy isn't, pre-built. Like it's not a pre-built like monument. Like he inherits, I mean it's not like a pre-built, monument that he inherits. But really it's like a mountain that he scales, each like say, perilous step, because really each step, is like a testament really to his will and determination, because he finds satisfaction, not in the final achievement, but in the arduous journey. Because every tomb raided, every puzzle solved, every enemy outsmarted, these are all like say the bricks that he uses really to build his own legend. And Drake, like he has respect, like he respects those overall who've actually come before him, the explorers and the adventurers who dare to push the boundaries of the known world. But his reverence is not, for their social standing or inherited wealth. but really it's for their courage, their ingenuity, their relentless pursuit of knowledge, because he aspires to join their ranks, not through blood or privilege, but really through his own grit and determination. And really this obsession, with carving his own legacy, it isn't like say without its flaws, because this can, of course, and it has, led him down to reckless paths, prioritizing him, pretty much prioritizing fame over safety and fortune, over loyalty, you know, but it's also something overall that fuels his unwavering spirit, his drive to explore the furthest, corners of the earth and unearth, the secrets that they hold. So Nathan Drake's legacy isn't something that that he's given, but it's something that he claws his way, like say towards, with every treasure that he hunts and every danger that he defies. Fortune favors the bold. Now, thing about Drake is this. Now Drake, he isn't afraid of a little risk. He throws himself headfirst into danger, trusting his wit and resourcefulness to really overcome any obstacle, and this isn't like, blind recklessness, but really it's like a calculated gamble, like a belief that opportunity awaits for those who dare to seize it. And for Nathan Drake, fortune favors the bold, and this really like say isn't like a catchy motto, but really it's like a way of life. Like it's like the fuel that propels him into the crumbling tombs and uncharted jungles. But Drake's boldness isn't like mindless bravado, because really like here's what we can overall have a little bit of a glimpse into when it comes to like the fortune favors the bold. So the thing about Drake is this, when it comes to like you know when it comes to Drake, because Drake, he isn't like a gambler, throwing dice, but like he's like a seasoned adventurer, someone who meticulously, researches, plans, well, sort of, and also improvises brilliantly, you know, because really he pushes boundaries, sure, he pushes boundaries, but he also assesses risks, relying on his cunning and his knowledge of history and puzzles, to navigate danger. So think of him. Think of him like, say, scaling a crumbling Tibetan monastery. You know, a bold move, but one filled by his understanding of ancient architecture. Now, see, Drake doesn't wait for opportunity to fall into his lap, but he actively seeks it. He actively seeks it out, venturing into forgotten corners of the world, because he believes that the greatest treasures are often the most hidden, requiring a willingness to go the extra mile, literally and figuratively. Now, this isn't just about, physical courage, but it's about intellectual curiosity and a relentless pursuit of knowledge. And really, Drake's world is really like, say, is rarely like, say, what the Dusty Journals promise, because plans go south, booby traps spring, and ruthless mercenaries show up uninvited. But Drake, he thrives on that type of chaos, because like his boldness is really like what translates, pretty much it translates to like an incredible ability, to adapt, using his environment and quick thinking, to turn a near death experience into a clever escape. Like it's about staying a step ahead, embracing the unexpected, and, maybe even using it to his advantage. So Drake, he isn't delusional. Like he knows a healthy dose of luck, plays a role. But he also believes that luck favors those who put themselves out there. So by actively seeking adventure, by taking calculated risks, he actually increases his chances of stumbling upon, fortunate circumstances. Because he understands that the more you explore, the more opportunities you could, that you create, for a lucky break. And really for Drake, the thrill of the chase, the adrenaline, the rush of discovery, is really just as pretty much is just as valuable as the riches that he might find. The boldness isn't just about the gold, but it's about, pushing his limits, testing his skills and unearthing the secrets of the past. So really the reward for Drake is really the adventure itself. History whispers secrets. Now you see Drake, Drake, he sees the past, not as a dead relic, but as a living puzzle. He believes that history holds the key to unlocking forgotten riches and unraveling the mysteries of the world. And this philosophy really emphasizes the importance of the past in shaping the present, because Nathan, he doesn't just chase treasure, but he chases the whispers of it. Because the thrill of the hunt isn't just like about the gold, like at the end of like pretty much at the end of the rainbow type of thing, but the stories that are etched in crumbling statues and forgotten texts. So for Drake, history isn't a dusty textbook, but it's a living conversation, a conversation that is whispered across centuries. And you see, now Drake, like he sees himself as an interpreter, deciphering, the cryptic language of the past. Like he devours, dusty journals, deciphers ancient languages, and really he pieces together, like, say, the fragmented artifacts, like it's like a giant puzzle, each piece, revealing like a glimpse of a lost civilization, a forgotten conquest or a legendary treasure. And really Drake's, like, say, reverence, for history, it sets him apart from like the greedy grave robbers that he often encounters, because he understands that these artifacts aren't just trinkets, but they're windows into the soul of a bygone era. Because he may take the treasure, but he also seeks to preserve the knowledge that it represents, a sense of responsibility for safeguarding the past for future generations. And really, when it comes to history, like history for Drake, it isn't just about wonder, you know, it isn't just about wonder, but really it's a cautionary tale, because he sees the hubris of lost empires, the destructive power of greed and the consequences of unchecked ambition. And these lessons from the past actually fuel his determination to ensure the artifacts don't fall into the wrong hands. And Drake, like he believes, that the past, isn't like, say, a dead end, but really it's a living, tapestry, woven into the fabric of the present. And really understanding the motivations and conflicts of historical figures is what helps him anticipate the dangers and navigate the complexities of the modern world. So, for example, covering the secrets of a pirate king, it might lead him, like, say, to a hidden fortune, but it could also like reveal a hidden threat, lurking in the shadows. And of course, there's also like this sheer joy of discovery. Cause see, Drake, like he isn't like just a treasure hunter. Like he's like an archaeologist at heart. Unveiling like a hidden chamber or deciphering a cryptic inscription. Like these kinds of moments, they like ignite a passion. Like really ignite his passion for the past. Because he thrives like on the intellectual challenge and the satisfaction of unearthing a long lost secret. Love and loyalty, a treasure beyond gold. Now, really, for all his bravado, Drake, like, he fiercely values his loved ones. He values Soli, he values Elena, he values Chloe. These are the people who ground him, reminding him that true treasure, lies in human connection. Like this injects, like, say, a dose of emotional depth, showing that, Drake prioritizes, camaraderie over solitary riches. Now, see, Nathan, he wouldn't necessarily call himself a sentimental man, because he chases lost cities, not butterflies. Yet beneath his wisecracks and his bravado, there lies a fierce loyalty that really forms this bedrock of his life. So really, when we continue really into the facet, like really into this surprising facet really of the Drake Doctrine itself, now, see, Drake's adventures are a constant dance, with danger. He flirts with death, teetering on the edge of oblivion. And really, in this volatile world, his love for Elena Fisher, it really acts like, say, as his anger, because Elena, with her intelligence and unwavering support, reminds him of the life that he fights to get back. Like she's like a symbol of normalcy, a world worth returning to, after the dust settles from the latest escapade. Now, Drake isn't just loyal to Elena, because really it's a reciprocal bond. Like he trusts solely his surrogate father figure with his life. And their banter, hides, like, say, a deep respect and unwavering support for each other. And even the relationship with Chloe Frazier is, it's built on a foundation of shared history and really a grudging respect, for her skills. And Drake, now see, Drake, his loyalty isn't blind. because he's been betrayed, his trust shattered. But really, these experiences, they haven't like turned him, cynical, because instead, they've made him, more discerning. Like his loyalty is earned, like a treasure bestowed upon, those who actually prove themselves worthy, through thick and thin. Facing down, pirates, mercenaries, and even supernatural, even supernatural threats, together, is what strengthens these bonds. And really a moral compass, like really in the morally, like say, like say ambiguous world of treasure, of treasure hunters. Drake's love and loyalty act like as his like pretty much they act as his moral compass. They remind him of what truly matters. Not just the thrill of the hunt or the allure of the riches, but really he draws a line at endangering innocent lives or betraying those who trust him. And Drake's love, isn't without sacrifice. Like he puts Elena and his relationships at risks, by dragging them like into his dangerous world. Because he witnesses the toll that his adventures actually take on their well-being. Like, and really this internal conflict, it really adds depth to his character. Showcasing the constant struggle between adventure and a peaceful life. Now love and loyalty for Nathan Drake are treasures like say far more valuable than any lost city or hidden artifact. Like they're like the human connection that gives meaning to his relentless pursuit of adventure. Because the Drake Doctrine reminds us that even the most thrill-seeking treasure hunter finds his greatest riches in the bonds he forges along the way. The thrill of the hunt. Now, see, Drake, he isn't just motivated by gold. Like he thrives really like on the thrill of the chase. The adrenaline, like pretty much the adrenaline rush of discovery. Like it's the journey, the puzzles, um, the close calls. That really overall are what make life an adventure. Because the philosophy, like really this philosophy, it celebrates like the intrinsic value of exploration and experience. Because Nathan Drake, he isn't your average treasure hunter. Because sure, like he craves the glittering, like I mean, like he does crave, like the pretty much like the glittering loot at the end of the dusty trail. But really, there's something deeper, that really fuels his relentless pursuit of lost artifacts. But really, it's the thrill of the hunt. Like this intoxicating, pretty much an intoxicating blend of challenge, discovery, and really the satisfaction of unraveling history's forgotten secrets. Now, Drake's obsession with the hunt, it goes beyond like say like pretty much the material gain, but really it's like a constant itch, that he needs to scratch. Like a thirst for adventure, that propels him into danger, with pretty much with a grin. So really, here's like a bit of a closer look at really what makes him like pretty much what makes the hunt like so irresistible for him. And really, it's overall got to be really when it comes down to like the puzzles and really like the forgotten whispers. Now, see, Drake, he thrives on the intellectual challenge. He thrives on the ancient riddles, the cryptic maps, and the booby trapped tombs. And these are like puzzles that are waiting to be cracked. Because he possesses like say a remarkable ability to weave together historical threads. Forming like a tapestry that leads him to hidden treasures. So really solving these puzzles, like it isn't just like a means to an end, but really it's a form of mental gymnastics that he genuinely enjoys. And history also holds like say a deep fascination for Drake. Like he isn't like say just grave robbing, but he's actually, communing, with the past, unearthing, lost artifacts. It's like unearthing, forgotten stories, whispers of a bygone era. And he pretty much becomes like a conduit, for these stories, bringing them back to light for the world to see. And really, there's a sense of purpose in his pursuit, a feeling of preserving the past, for the future. And also, like, let's not forget the sheer excitement, because Drake, like, he dances, like I said before, like, he dances on the edge of danger, the bullets, whizzing, past his ear as he leaps across crumbling platforms. Like, this near death ballet is like a rush unlike anything else, because he confronts his fears, like, head on, transforming it, like, say, into like a thrilling fuel that propels him forward, because really there's like a sense of mastery in this controlled chaos, a feeling of pushing his limits and also emerging victorious. So really the thrill of the hunt. Now, it isn't without its consequences. Now see, it lands him in precarious situations, testing his loyalty and forcing him to confront his own mortality. So, but for Drake though, the risk is what the reward. So the hunt isn't really just about finding treasure, but it's about finding himself, testing his mettle, and proving that even an ordinary man can achieve extraordinary things. You know, it's an addiction, it's a constant yearning for the next adventure, the next puzzle, and the next forgotten whisper of history, waiting to be unearthed. And ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much concludes this video here today. This concludes the video altogether. So see, really the Drake Doctrine, as I call it, like really this isn't like say like a textbook, of morality, but really it's a philosophy that is forged in the crucible of adventure. It's about taking the chances, valuing history and really just finding your own path, Like it's a testament to the idea that an ordinary man with a thirst for excitement and a touch of recklessness can carve his own extraordinary legacy. So in the end, Nathan Drake is a paradox. He's a thrill seeker who yearns for a quiet life and pretty much overall is a charming rogue with a moral compass. Because he embodies like this allure of adventure and the importance of human connection. And his journey pretty much throughout the Uncharted series is one of growth, because he learns, like I said, he learns that the greatest treasures aren't always made of gold, and that the pursuit of them can actually come at a heavy cost. So whether he chooses a life of, pretty much of domesticity with Elena, or succumbs to like the call of one last adventure, one thing remains clear. And one thing that remains clear is that Nathan Drake, he will leave a legacy. He's a reminder that life's greatest treasures are found not just in lost cities and hidden fortunes, but in the bonds that we forge and the experiences that we chase. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the end of the video. Thank you all for coming and joining me on this very beautiful day, of course, here, wherever you are now. I hope and I pray overall that each and every one of you continue to have a great day and have a great rest of the whole entire week altogether entirely. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.